Japanese Grand Prix podium, which just a few minutes ago had the top 3 drivers from this year's Grand Prix. Hi folks, welcome to Paddock Pass, the Japanese Grand Prix edition, and yeah, what a Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton, now a 41-time Formula One Grand Prix winner. He equals his hero Ayrton Senna at the track at which his idol won every one of his 3 Formula One World Championships. A very emotional day. A race that was won at the first corner by Lewis Hamilton, taking the advantage from his teammate Nico Rosberg, who had started on pole position. But it wasn't all that simple behind Hamilton. Nico Rosberg, who Hamilton edged through turn 1, then fell back to 4th place. Sebastian Vettel took over in 2nd, and Rosberg had to put in a big battling drive to make that 2nd place back. Ultimately, it was his outlap on his 3rd stint coming out of the pits that won Nico Rosberg that 2nd place back and put Sebastian Vettel into 3rd. So here are the top 3. Lewis Hamilton, a 41-time Grand Prix winner, Nico Rosberg in 2nd, and Sebastian Vettel in 3rd. What a phenomenal victory. Many congratulations. Talk us through the start and that first corner, because that was gutsy.
Yeah, the first corner was... I had to push like crazy. I had to get that start. The start was very, very crucial. Getting by at the start really made the race. It's so difficult to pass here, as you see probably with the guys behind. Undercutting is possible, but on the track you just can't follow through that first sector because it's all downforce. And so, but I was on the inside line, and in actual fact, the inside line is not the best line. It was the only line I had to be on, but the outside line is the actual race line. So he actually had a better line going in. But I had to try and just get on the gas and try and make it stick. And I was running out of road at one point, as obviously he did because he was on the outside. But it was a good feeling to get back in front. And yeah, I felt after that was just managing the tyres and getting the gap the way I needed it. But the car was, I don't think they had the same pace as me today, as you could see. So I think even if I was second, I was in a strong position.
You managed your tyres beautifully. You made your mediums last longer than your hards. Let's talk us through how good the car felt to you.
The car really, I have to say, I have to really take my hat off to my guys. They did an amazing job every weekend with the balance and stuff. But really, we didn't have Friday, and we had that 1 hour really to get the car nailed, and it was really difficult. I came in and I didn't really know where I wanted to go with it, so I left it with my guys, got in the car for qualifying, and they did an amazing job to fine tune it. Went out and it felt great, and even today felt even better. So it was a dream. This is the best feeling I've ever had at this track. In terms of the flow, for the first time I've been actually on it at this track, using every ounce of the road, inch of the road, and yeah. So and to match Ayrton is just doesn't feel real.
That's the thing, to do it here, where he won every one of his world championships with a crowd that adored him so much, and that he was your hero. I know you say it doesn't feel real, but what does it mean to you to do it here?
Yeah, well, I just think about the times where we worked, where we would arrive at the track and we were the unknowns as a family, me and my dad, and just we set out. I remember the day that Ayrton passed was where the track I started, and it was one of the saddest days at the time for a young kid, but I always just aspired to do what he had done at some point, or do something similar to him. So to come here, I mean, I'm honoured to be in the presence of a great like him, and not only as a driver, but what he did for his country, what he did for the people, what he did for kids like me, because I wasn't able to relate to anyone else. So to come here and match his wins is an absolute dream, and yeah, I feel incredibly privileged.
Back on the podium, and a great recovery drive today. Ultimately, though, not quite the win I know you were hoping for. Talk us through your race.
Yeah, it was I lost it really at the start, and then in turn 1 and 2. So that was disappointing. After that, yeah, then 4th place. It's tough mentally also after that, because I'm like, oh, damn, But I fought back and I gave it everything, and I'm glad that I made it all the way back to 2nd place.
Was Lewis fair with you at the start? Did he give you enough room around turn 1?
I haven't seen it, so it was very close, and I had to avoid on the outside. But I don't know yet.
Is this the day we saw the fight back in you? Are you going to take this to Lewis for the rest of the championship season? Do you believe you can still win the title?
Well, the fight back is there the whole time. It's trying hard, but it needs to come all right, to beat him. And this weekend there was 2 small things that didn't go to plan, and then didn't work out.
Congratulations on another podium. But could today and should today have been a P2 for you?
Well, I think we can be very happy. Obviously, crossing the line, you thought that maybe there was a bit more. It was close. Nico had a fantastic outlap, and that made the difference today. So he drove well and deserved. You have to be fair as well and accept that. I think if we came in the same lap or a lap earlier, we definitely stay ahead. And after that, it's interesting to see what happens. I think he struggled to really get closer, and maybe we could have stayed ahead like that. But we will never find out.
Your second stint was phenomenal, and when the team said you needed to keep that 2-second gap, you matched his pace perfectly, lap after lap after lap. Had they asked you to keep a 3-second gap or a 4-second gap, could you have done that?
At the beginning, they asked to do half a second quicker or a second quicker than I was doing at the time, and I said, well, I can't go a second quicker. So that's why I said also be smart, because if he's just arriving a second quicker and then walks through us, there's no point fighting against him. If there's no chance, because we will only hurt ourselves for people behind. But he got stuck. We had a very consistent pace, which made it difficult for him. And then, as I said, he had a very good undercut. It worked for him. My in-lap was fine, so I guess we just underestimated the speed they had. So we thought we were safe. Otherwise, we would have pitted as well. But yeah, with hindsight, it's easy to say come in the same lap and you could defend the position. What happens after that, unknown. But I think we had a reasonable chance in case to stay ahead, because it's so difficult to overtake here.
Coming here, we said, and everyone agreed, it was just a blip for Mercedes in Singapore. But you do have the pace, clearly. You can take the fight to Nico. Can you finish second in this championship?
I don't know. There's a lot of races still to come. I think we just go race by race, and everything else we will see. If the chance is there, so far we've been pretty efficient, so that's good. If it's not there, then we need to do the maximum and make sure that we finish third. But yeah, I think nevertheless it's a very, very good result today. Great recovery after a difficult start Saturday morning. Friday we lost some time, and I think we need the Friday in general to extract everything. So yeah. It was a bit of a rough start, but a great finish.
So from 3 very happy chappies on the podium to McLaren. How do you solve a problem like McLaren? Really horrific weekend for them. There's no other way of describing it. We arrived here in Japan, and from the airport in Tokyo, Narita, down to local train stations, posters everywhere heralding the glorious return of Honda to Formula One and Honda to the Japanese Grand Prix. And it's been an embarrassment for them. Neither car in the points. Fernando Alonso on the radio screaming in his radio messages to the team. Frustration borne out to a once great, once mighty partnership that was McLaren-Honda. Here's Jenson Button. Here's Fernando Alonso. And both of them with their futures in question after a race which Fernando Alonso described on the radio as being an embarrassment. We all remember Spa, I think it was 2000, when Michael and Mika went either side of Riccardo Zonta. That was you today, wasn't it? With a Toro Rosso and a Sauber. That can't have felt great.
No, and that guy was getting lapped, so he lifted off. Whereas I hadn't lifted, I was flat out. Yeah, when there's that much difference in speed, you don't know what to do. I mean, you don't know when they're going to be there because the speed difference is so big. So in the end, you just back out. I had the same thing at 130R. The cars coming up so fast, and it's the same for them. There's such a difference in speed that they're like, do I get on the inside or not? I'm not sure where I'm going to be when I get there. And so yeah, it made it tricky. And if we on the last stint, if we were in front of Ericsson, we would have been fine because we were quicker. And he was holding all the other cars up behind, so like Fernando was able to do his own race, and I think we would have been just behind Fernando. But as soon as he exited in front of me, I couldn't do anything. I can't overtake, and they can all overtake me really easily. So just ends up every lap just someone coming past or getting lapped. So.
How difficult is it to come back here where you've had such history, such great results, and to have such a difficult race? We heard Fernando, we didn't hear any of your radio today, but we heard Fernando on the radio saying it felt like a GP2 engine, and at the start just saying he felt embarrassed.
I'm not going to say that. This is a tough weekend. I think in front of the whole of Honda and the whole, all the fans we have here, it's always going to be difficult because we want to succeed in front of them, and we're doing our best. And hopefully, our best isn't good enough at the moment, but we've got to keep our heads down and keep focused and hopefully see improvements as soon as possible.
Has this been your last Japanese Grand Prix as a Formula One driver?
Well, it's my first Japanese Grand Prix not being in the top 10, so that hurts a little bit.
A difficult race. We had a lot of your radio transmissions, the first one in which you said you felt embarrassed, the second one almost sort of an animal cry at the end, describing it as a GP2 engine. Talk us through your emotions at the end of what is a very difficult day.
Yeah, I feel embarrassed, when I'm racing sometimes, because it's frustrating when you see the other cars making mistakes, braking late, going out of racing line, going sideways, etc. And then you look on the mirror on the straight to look for them, and they are side by side already. So it's the deficit on power we have is just like another category. So it's tough to race like this, and it's frustrating. But on the positive side, we both McLarens finished the race. So hopefully we have some useful information on that mileage after the double retirement of Singapore with the gearbox issues. Seems that we fixed those problems. So hopefully, every time we have a reliability issue, we can find the solution and don't repeat the same mistake. And in terms of performance, hopefully next year, because I know that they must change a lot of things on the power unit and the structure. So I think that will be a medium-term job, and will be for next year, not for the remaining races.
What feels worse, a double DNF as it was in Singapore, or a race like this where, as you say, you get passed like you're standing still at the home of your parent engine company?
I feel worse the DNF, I think. At the end of the day, the guys, the mechanics, the whole team is working very hard, and they are working from early morning to after the race to prepare the car and to make sure that everything is at the maximum performance. So when you don't finish the race, it's a sad moment for everyone in the team. When you finish, is the performance, and if you finish 11th, it's because you deserve 11. If you finish 5th, it's because you deserve 5th. So we take that, because we know that there are some deficits that we need to fix for future, but definitely feel better to finish the race and at least see the checkered flag in front of our fans.
Everybody's asking if Jensen's going to be back with the team next year. Is there any doubt at all that you will be back next year?
No, I think the priority right now is to think in the races we have in front of us, in the 6 races, and to prepare next year car at the best. And there are some areas that we need to improve, the aerodynamic side, the mechanical side, reliability, performance, energy recovery. So there are many areas that we need to fix. So on this moment, that's the priority.